Star quality. I got it. I got this. You got it. You got it. My chart says so. Look at me go. Sun, moon, rising. It's all about time. It's all about time. Earthlings. What's it all mean? What's it all mean? Star quality.
What's it all mean? What's it all mean? Mean.
Star quality. Woo. No, dude, really, what does it all mean? I got it. You got it. We got it. Star quality. Star quality. Welcome to Star Quality. I'm your host, astrologer Stevie Goldstein, and what is up? It is time for the Sagittarius full moon. I am in a different setting. If you've been following along with me on any of my social pages, mainly TikTok is where I've been updating the most lately, which is spaghetti_witch, or on Instagram, spaghetti_witch. I am currently in Lilydale, New York for an artist residency. So I have a little bit of a different background. I have been on a road trip since May 22nd. It is currently, I'm recording in the afternoon of June 10th, and we'll get into the dates and stats and everything of this full moon. But just wanted to give a check-in about what I've been doing and up to, because I'm in this very, 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 very interesting, cool town, a hamlet, if you will, in Western New York, a very, I guess the word is rural, but rustic town. And what's very special about this place, it's the largest community of spiritualists, I believe, for sure in North America, but possibly the world. And many of the residents who live here are mediums and psychic mediums. Not every medium, I've learned this recently, not every medium is a psychic, but every psychic is a medium, something like that. I'm probably butchering it, but so been doing some really cool stuff. I'm going to get into it, and there's going to be a whole episode or maybe a couple episodes about my experience while I've been here in Lilydale. But yeah, just had to open with that because I'm in a totally new setting. I've been on the road, just experiencing life, doing very Sagittarian things, even though maybe we equate, I mean, it's still Gemini season, part of the Gemini Sagittarius axis. We do associate Gemini with more short travel and short trips. So I guess it is more Sagittarius. Sagittarius, we typically associate with travel over water. But I'm surrounded by 3 lakes right now. And it's been a long distance road trip. Like, me and my husband Pablo drove out here. I'll get into it in a different episode and unpack all of this. So let's stick to the full moon because I want to go out in Lilydale again. And what I've been doing here is an artist residency. So for a few weeks, I'm spending time channeling. I'm working on I mentioned in a previous episode, but I am working on reimagining the Sabian symbols 100 years later. And we're going to get into the Sabian symbol of this full moon and the full moon chart. And this is my first time that I've really gotten away from my regular routine. Like, I've traveled and stuff, but this is like, okay, I'm coming here with an intention for a project. I really want to make this into a deck that I can then do for readings and events, and that other people can also use for their own readings and channeling. I love the Sabian symbols. I use them a lot. I think, where astrology, I wish, could have more of its tarot, folkloric, symbolic imagery elements, is where the Sabian symbols come in. But the Sabian symbols were made 100 years ago. A lot of them are like racist or outdated, or just like they don't have objects of now. And I think maybe I mentioned this before, whatever. Love to repeat a tale. But, my mentors, the Astro Twins, they recently came out with a really great book called The Astrology Advantage. Actually, the paperback comes out in July, but the hardcover has been out since last August. And they really inspired me in that. And I just want to, this story is so that maybe this will apply to you, whether you're an astrologer or whatever field you're working in. we can come up with new systems. So in the astrology advantage, they worked with the modalities to make like a weighted scale system with your elements to break you into 3 different types: an innovator, an authority, or a maven. I was going to say manifester. Maven. It's maven. There's also hybrid types as well. I'm an innovator, earth innovator, element dominantly earth, modality mainly cardinal. So they associate it with the weighted scale of modalities to elements. So, anyways, and I did an episode with Ophira of the Astro Twins back in August that you can listen to, all about this system, because I think it's really cool and also just really inspiring, when you've studied in your field, when you've, really done your work, you've looked to the history, the past, like we do need to work with what built our realms of our, practices or creativity or whatever field you're in. But we can also make new stuff. We can make new systems. We can make new theories. And I think just sometimes in mysticism, we get really beholden to only old things. And I know there's a whole sector of people in astrology who just only want to do the old, Hellenistic, ancient, totally cool. Like go to the past and deep dive, nerd out, respect. I love to listen to that stuff and get educated on those things. However, I'm an 11th house sun. I love the future. I love to innovate. So and make new things. So that's my, I don't know, plea or insight or update to you, is that you can make a new system. And sometimes you need to take yourself away from your everyday routine to go make new systems of things. So I will report back, but been in Lilydale. I went to a seance, like literally connected with spirits. It was very, very, very interesting. I've seen things I've never seen before that I just can't explain, besides that it was a spirit. And it's just been a really wild, cool, just aligned mystical experience. So stay tuned. So this is a great place to say, if you're new here, please subscribe. You'll get all the updates and emails in your inbox. I do not spam you. You'll just get an update anytime there's a new article or episode or anything like that. If you would like to be a paid supporter, that would rock. I have a space for paid supporters called the third space. We have our own private chat, which, sorry, I've neglected the chat. I've been a little busy, but I will be back in there. And you get access to all the paywalled episodes and also to the full weekly horoscopes, because I give the first few days of the week for free, Monday and Tuesday, and tease a little Wednesday. And then you get the full weekly horoscopes. And monthly forecasts are coming later this year too. I think those will be podcast episodes, because it's been a little over a year of this Substack being a fully rooted resource in place, and I've been loving it. And I ranked on the charts. I think I talked about that before, and I'm just, it's been, the space has felt good to keep growing and maintaining and investing in. So I am appreciative of my third space people. So for $7.77 a month, for the cost of buying me an iced latte with oat milk, you support this indie publication that is user supported. And then I can just nerd out and make more episodes and create more for you. So thank you for your support. And okay, let's get into this full moon. There will be a paywall eventually. I'm going to go into like the basic aspects, not basic, because this is a very actually this is a very unbasic full moon in many ways. But I'm going to get into the nitty-gritty of the aspects of this chart. Before the paywall, we'll talk about the aspects to the moon and sun. And then after the paywall, we'll get into the rest of the aspects of the rest of the chart and the Sabian symbols. So that's what you can expect. So for now, also this is on video. I'm back on video. Hello. Depends on like my schedule and capabilities and internet connection and backgrounds. And if I like want my face to be viewed in this moment in time, today I do. And, but you can listen on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Please rate and leave reviews. Just help people find me. If you are on Substack, please comment, heart the post. If you feel called to, reshare it. This just helps people find the things. If you're scrolling and consuming, interact. Why not? Could be fun. And I love to hear your thoughts too, because I assume if you're listening, you're anyone can be an astrologer. You're a baby astrologer. We're all learning from each other and doing pattern recognition and sharing our knowledge. So I love to hear how this full moon in Sagittarius, your takes. Do you have any hot takes? Like, you're like, oh man, like you missed this. Like this, there's a lot of moving parts in astrology. So you might be seeing something, and we all have different perspectives. I think of astrologers like artists, or interpreters. We are all getting the same material. We're all going to talk about Sagittarius and exploration and freedom, right? Like that's the major tenant themes. But then maybe I'm picking up more on the education element of Sagittarius. Maybe another astrologer is picking up more on the like fortune based things of Sagittarius. You know what I mean? Like these signs and planets and houses and aspects contain a lot of symbolism. And that's why it's been fun to remake these Sabian symbols. Maybe this is a great place to comment in. I'm working title calling them the Stevie symbols. And this is just what's so funny about being an Aries moon in the 10th house. Square my Mars and square, my Cancer rising energy. It's just too corny to call them the Stevie symbols, right? Like, am I just downplaying myself? Like, I don't know. It feels like I don't know if I want like, oh, it's my name, the Stevie symbols. It's just working title. That's what I'm calling them. But I'm very open to new suggestions. So pitch me if you have a name for my updated symbols. The Sabian got its name from like there was some like mystical group of people the guy liked that were called the Sabians or something. So even though it sounds like the Sibian, if you know, you know. There's also like a sex motel like by my parents' house called like the Sybaris. So anyways, but what I do think is funny about the Sabian symbols is now there is a company. I gotta check. I doubt they knew this when they did this. There is a symbols, like drum symbols, like called Sabian symbols. Can't make this up. So I almost want to. Would it be a good idea if I looked up like other drum symbol companies and just made these symbols a symbol name? Do you get what I'm saying? Like I know I used to play the drums. I'm like, there's one that's like a long name with like an A. Okay, when I pull up the chart, I'll also Google and like bring up some symbol names and we can talk about it and see. But is that like funny? Is that kitschy? Like I just think it's funny that there's Sabian symbols and then years later there's Sabian symbols. So do I just take a name of symbols and make it a new Sabian symbol? How many times can I say that? Okay. So also this full moon is happening June 11th, 2025 at 12:44 a.m. Pacific time. So just after midnight. I'm on East Coast time, so it's going to be 3:44 a.m. So it's going to be building up tonight, June 10th. And it's going to be, it sounds like from what I'm reading, that this is going to be really low and big. So cool. And I remember last year seeing this, it's a strawberry full moon. This means it's going to be on the little pinker, redder side. And that has to do with the seasonality. Strawberries are popping off this time of year in the summer. And yeah, so look to the skies. It should be building up tonight. And let me pull up the chart for this Sagittarius full moon. Okay, I have the chart up. I do have it set for Lilydale. So the rising sign is going to be different depending on your time zone, but this is what I have it set for. And so the Sabian symbols, CY, like the drum company, that was named after the founders' three kids, Sally, Billy, and Andy. So he took the first two letters of Sal, B, N, Sabian. Isn't that crazy? But the other symbol company was, I'm probably going to butcher it, Zildjian. That's like the main one I remember from when I was doing drumming. And I guess it's like the oldest symbols company. It's from like the Ottoman Empire, which massacred my family in Iran. So maybe I don't want to do that. Anyways, well, they were there first. Okay, we can get into history. Very saggy there, zooming out. But either way, it's not the Zildjian's fault, but maybe that's the symbol name. I'll put the images in the Substack of everything with the symbols. So let me know your thoughts. Anyway, so let's take a peek at this full moon. And There's been a lot of big changes this week too. Jupiter is now in Cancer, which there was a full article about. Read it, read your horoscope. I wrote your Jupiter in Cancer horoscopes. Look at your Jupiter and Gemini horoscopes too and see if that came true. I was looking at mine that I wrote because, I read my own horoscopes too because I forget what I write a lot of the time. So I'll read back like, what the fuck did I say to myself and to y'all? And mine was eerie. Mine was very accurate. I was like, go me. Because it was like, I mean, it makes sense. Like Jupiter was going through my 12th house, and with Placidus, it still is. So that is connected to spirituality. But I wrote a lot about, mediumship and going internal. And I'm like, damn, I'm in Lilydale reading this thing and Jupiter switching signs. So just hella interesting. But I'm going to get into all the planets and where they are and all the different aspects. But just for this side of the paywall, let's start with the sun and moon. Because as we know, full moons are when so we have the sun here in Gemini, 20 degrees of Gemini in 39 minutes, and then this full moon in Sag, 20 and 39. So what are the aspects being made? Okay. We have, of course, an opposition to the sun, so we won't talk too much about it because that's a full moon. Full moons are when we have the most light. It's when we're said to be releasing, when we're seeing everything. There's as much light as possible. So this is where we're going to release, let go, and pare down, even though that's not really Sag's thing, which is a great challenge for a Sagittarius. Sagittarius can tend to be a little more maximalist. They're Jupiterian in nature. More is more. But the first thing, okay, where to start? Let's start with these fiery trines that we got from both Chiron and Aries and Mars and Leo. Okay, Mars and Leo trining this. I mean, if I gave this full moon one phrase, it'd probably be, you're smarter than this. You're smarter than this. Like there is just something like getting out of your own way. Actually, maybe that's the phrase I'll go with. It's very getting, and also if you needed you're smarter than this, then take it. But it's getting out of your own way. With Sagittarius, Sagittarius can really have a tendency to overthink, to, they are connected with mutable fire, sometimes like an aimless energy. That's why they have the arrow, because it's like, no, put it towards somewhere. But there's this really beautiful connection to Mars and Leo, and then also Chiron. So there's this like grand fire trine with Chiron, Mars, and the moon. And that feels very, of course, like take a shot. It's Chiron healing, but also very empowering. Like it's very actually. It's very Elle Woods, It's very like you don't need to be I don't know, like let anybody talk down to you about what you know or that you don't know what you're talking about. There is this like standing in your own passions and yeah, like we don't have to placate anyone. I think with I'll get way more into Jupiter after the paywall, but like a little teasy poo of that is I think Jupiter and Cancer. I think everyone's like, oh, it's gonna be so sweet. And this is like, have you ever met a Cancer? I don't even need to tell you. Fill in the blanks. Like cardinal water is like that Kirsten Dunst meme that's like he didn't order this. Like it's protective. It stands up for other people. The hardest part so far of being gone is seeing what's happening in fucking Los Angeles, where I live, where I love, I'm going to be 10 years in LA this September. And I think who is allowed now, again, both sides, because evil people function in astrology too, both sides are going to really feel that. And it's like, who is allowed? Because to me, no one is illegal. And then there's some assholes out here who like to pretend they're followers of Christ and say that people are. So Sagittarius is also heavily associated with religion and philosophy and, beliefs. So I think too, to not back down in your beliefs. Now, again, the other sides, the other coin of who's believing what is going to also probably be very fueled with that. But what's cool is, and maybe it's not, most people will be like, is this cool? this squares from the nodes is such a like, who gives a fuck what other people think? Like, again, this is MySpace. Miss MySpace. This is my space to, talk to you all about astrology, how how we can use this in our waking world. And, like, fuck being cringe. Like, who cares? Fuck if you're you're woke with it. Like, when did like caring about people start being like an uncool thing? Like, that could never be me. I don't know. I went to high school during like the Iraq War. So like I've been protesting all this shit my whole life. I've never believed the American dream was real. And now it's like clear and we need a reset. And Pluto and Aquarius, we'll get into that. Pluto and Aquarius is only further amplifying this. And what's so funny is Last Venus Things episode, which is the monthly end of the month recap about stuff and pop culture and just, a catch up chat of life, was like, when is the revolution coming? Shout out. Oh my God. Sorry, I'm blanking on your name right now. I need to pause to freaking Emily. I didn't even have to pause. When Emily wrote in and asked, like, when is the revolution coming? Or when is it going to happen? Oh my God. Maybe she just needed to ask that for it to start going. It's going to be a long road. And I just went on a tangent and it's very Sagittarian, but this is coming back to, get out of your own way. Fuck what other people think, the nodes, because the nodes can represent like bigger society at large, the kind of big group picture that's happening. And I'm like, okay, now I'm really just going off. Was Saturn in Pisces just us all, like, what is even the word? Babying each other? Was Saturn in Pisces all of it just us like too like afraid to upset each other? Was that what was going on? Because like my Saturn and Aries mind is getting blown of like the energy has shifted. And we'll talk about it. I keep saying this because we will. We're going to go around the whole chart. We're going to talk about everything. Saturn and Neptune dissolving the fucking structures. Yeah, it's very warlike. Obviously, it's very militaristic, but like, I don't know. I was also born with Saturn conjunct Neptune, late 80s, Eastern Bloc. Bye, bitch. So, I mean, if you want to just ignore the world, like, I guess you can, but like, where astrology is a powerful tool to help others and to be integrated in community and to make a difference. So get out of your own way. It's going to feel good to just say it. Like, this is not, God, such dangerous advice, but I'm going to go for it. And also great reminder to say, take what you love, leave what you don't, or nothing I'm saying here, this is entertainment purposes only. But however, that Chiron, that Mars, this is such like, say it, pop off, boss, pop off, baby. Like, again, who are we trying to please? Because they're not trying to please us back. What's the phrase? Like, people pleasers hardly get pleased. Oh my God, I have to look up this phrase. Okay, I can't think of the exact phrase. So if you know it, let me know. But it's along the lines of like, if you people pleasing, if you try to please everyone, you end up pleasing no one, right? And I think too, the Sagittarius, the mutability, this being clocked on this mutable energy and being called back into the fire is, what's cool about Sag is they learn so much by doing, by exploring, by not ideally not overthinking it too much. So just, I don't know. Well, yes, full moons can be about the release of something. This feels very like, no, go Sag about it. Like, speak on it. I mean, I'm just loving even in these, as the federal government is attacking the second largest city in the United States for no reason, besides the fact that they're trying to stop people from being illegally kidnapped. I'm just loving what I'm seeing people posting of like, I actually just don't care if people are here illegally. So like, that's my point of view. And if you, I saw this great interview too, like it was like Fox News trying to get hot sound bites of like, speak on this wrong. And this woman, she's like, so what do you recommend as a solution? She's like, an easier path to citizenship. And the comments being like, oh my God, yes, everyone, these systems have made this so hard for so long for this exact reason to have an enemy for so long. So, anyways, I'm going to rant. It's hard not to mention it with this week. We have the quote unquote military parade on Saturday, aka on Trump's birthday. I mean, he definitely does not have an astrologer on staff because I would not have a big public birthday if I was him. Just the astro weather's not great. The astro weather's not good for him, but for another time. And let me get back into the chart. So we talked about this trine from Chiron. So this is really about standing up for yourself. Leo again, like Leo and Aries are much more associated with the self than Sagittarius is. It's like the one lone fire sign that is more about the collective. Not that Aries and Leo can't care about others, but they are signs that are here to represent us as individuals. Where it's facing off against the collective and what the collective is trying to brainwash us into thinking is normal or okay. It is not. Again, you don't have to politicize this chart reading, even though I am, because it's like, hello, look outside. But apply this to your own life. Like, where are you being gaslit the fucking house down? And you're like, no, I see the truth. Like, I know what's up. And if you have to go away, sometimes Sagittarius gets a lot of perspective from removing themselves from the situation for a minute and then coming back refreshed. That could be helpful as well. Let's see what aspects are being made to the sun. And then I'll move on to some other planets. Maybe we'll move to Jupiter after this, which it is. Man, this is a pretty wide conjunction. My settings must be big. That's pretty big, but whatever. Let's talk about it. We do have Jupiter here at 0 degrees of Cancer. Very, very, I want to maybe call that a conjunction, but let's just talk about it for a second. But also, so the sun is also getting those squares to the nodes. So it is both, the mind, the waking mind, and the feeling. It is like everything is saying, fuck this. Everything is saying no. Everything is saying question, push back. That's what squares are for. Squares are for change. Let me skip a look here. All right, I keep forgetting. It's like only 10. So it's a very wide conjunction. So some of you might not count it. That's really fine. But Jupiter is at a critical cardinal degree at 0 degrees with Jupiter in Cancer. I also made a video about it, adding to that conversation of who is welcome. Now, again, there's people using this for quite evil feelings, but this can also be in your own space, right? Like, who is showing their loyalty to you, who is not, and you can go from there with your decision making. But I do think Jupiter in Cancer, and this is just the beginning, it's going to be here for a year, is going to highlight like who rides for you and who is a little evil eyeing you, like who is maybe trying to steal your thunder or not actually like rooting for your wins. I think about that a lot too with like those posts I see that are like, why can't my friends like my posts? Like, are you my hater? And I think that is going to be very revealed, since it's all about family and connection and who is part of your community. Yeah, that's going to be an unfolding story. But this is our first lunation with Jupiter in Cancer. It is also a moon sign with Cancer. So extra potent as well. Okay, this is where the paywall is going to start. So I would love to see you on the other side. There is free trials if you want to hack the system. It's not a hack because it's available to you. But if you'd like to give it a shot and see if you want to head over to the other side of the paywall, there is free trials. Shout out to the paid supporters. I'm excited to see you over there. And I hope everyone has a fantastic full moon. I think this full moon feels good. It's not easy, but Sagittarius is not an easy sign, nor is Gemini. There's complexities. It's a very, I don't know, it's like going to a fine dining place. It's like, oh, this is an acquired taste. So see. Oh, I'm excited to talk Venus and Taurus. Oh my God. Lots to talk about, but I hope you enjoy this full moon and I'll see the rest of you to talk about where to go. Let's talk about this conjunction with Jupiter and Mercury next.